Welcome to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to continue to tell you about Brandon Embry.
Don't forget to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Podbean, and Facebook. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you get the new episodes whenever they drop. And tell your friends as always. And also, if you're on Podbean, go and check out our Patreon site.
Yeah, it's Patreon.
Yeah, so go check out our Patreon and sign up for that. And there's different tiers, so you get different things for each tier.
And also enter our giveaway we did for our 50th. You're coming close to the deadline.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And here we are. If you haven't listened to part 1, then what are you doing? Get back over there so that you're up to speed. We left off when Cassandra entered the picture, and we are jumping right back in. She told the family that her and Brandon were soulmates, talked about getting married. She even showed Sarah a picture of a ring that they had picked out, and that at one point she had been pregnant, but sadly miscarried. She said they were about to open a joint banking account, so she should be entitled to the money that was in his account. Hard no. The family had never even heard of this woman, and he had like $13,000 in his bank account at the time. She don't get that. Sarah is not dumb. Everything that Cassandra would tell her, she would take to the cops. But they already knew about her in their investigation because Brandon's cell phone records. They said that Brandon talked to Olivia about 5 times more than he talked to Cassandra. So her spiel was just making her look suspicious. Because remember, Olivia was the one he last talked to when she was driving home from work. Police interview her, Cassandra, once they can finally get her to come and talk to them. She said that she did see him on his birthday on the 7th, then came to his apartment the week after his death, and a neighbor broke the news to her. In between those times, she had been in bed. That's her alibi. For a week, she was in bed. They asked her if they could do a phone dump to get her data off her phone, and she consented to that. But they left her alone in an interview room, and one detective said he noticed, probably through one of those two-way mirrors, that she was furiously swiping on the phone. Well, duh. When they came back in and took her phone and hooked it up to do the dump, they realized that she had done a factory reset. No shit. There was no GPS data, no text messages, and she had just shown them Brandon's last text to her, so they knew there was a text on it just minutes before. Why would you ask someone if you could do a phone dump and then not immediately take the phone? They did send a search warrant to Verizon for her phone data, but they never released the results that I know of.
She also lies every time she opens her mouth.
Yeah.
They find out that this is the woman from Russia that Brandon told his sister that he had met.
Yeah. So in February, when he told his sister that he'd met a woman from Russia, but she was going back to her home country, it was actually Cassandra. And she's from Farmingdale, Maine. Her whole family's from there. Her mom, her grandparents, everybody.
So she's not actually from Russia.
No, not even close. She claimed that she had MS, an eating disorder, OCD, stomach issues, a master's degree in nursing. She said she had a twin sister who had died. She said she had a baby when she was 14 years old, but it also died. None of this is true. She said that when the neighbor told her about Brandon, she almost passed out, crying and begging for comfort. But the neighbor said that when they told Cassandra, she said thank you and shook their hand. It sounds like she only suffers from diabetes. Is her name even Cassandra? Yes. And her husband's name is Danny. They married in 2012, and he is 20 years older than her. He said he financially supported the household and does all of the chores. They sleep in separate bedrooms, and she would leave all the time on trips. And she had P.O. boxes in Virginia and Colorado. She always had a couple of burner phones on her, too. How is this not suspicious? He told Sarah that he thought she made side money as a sugar baby online. He also showed Sarah a picture of him from May of 2019, where he looked very sick. He was jaundiced. He was weak from exhaustion all the time. But after hearing about Brandon, he started piecing things together. When Cassandra would disappear, he would feel better. He thinks she was poisoning his coffee because his morning routine was to start the coffee pot on his way to the bathroom. He would sometimes hear Cassandra coming into the kitchen because she was very heavy-footed. When he would come out of the bathroom, she wasn't in there. She was in bed, sleeping. And then he would feel sick shortly after. And this next part doesn't really have anything to do with Brandon's case, but I thought it was funny and very eye-opening. One time, she texted Danny saying, "I feel like I'm legit dying. Just got home. Almost passed out at work. Saw stars. Legs collapsed in the office. Massive stiff neck. Hands are shaking like I have Parkinson's. And I feel like I met Floyd Mayweather in an alley and he took me out. I feel like I'm dying. Oh, and I broke 3 plates with food on them when my legs collapsed this morning around 10:30 a.m. It started Monday at 7. If it doesn't stop, I'm going to the emergency room." And Danny replied, "What do you want for dinner?" I thought that was very telling.
Danny knew she was bullshitting.
Yeah, he obviously was used to this because that was a long explanation
and
of
so,
what
I mean,
she was
he
doing.
kind of started picking up on his sickness, and then because of Brandon's,
Right.
was she putting chlorine in his?
He doesn't know.
I bet he's put. Oh man, that's my guess. I bet she's putting chlorine in his water in the coffee pot.
I don't know. I don't know what it was.
We had we didn't have. I just remember you telling me a story one time. I don't know if we didn't cover a story on this, but the guy would get up every morning, start the coffee pot, and he would drink his cup of coffee, and that's what he was, same symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally was kind of getting suspicious of it, so he put a cam up, like a hidden camera, and then he would do his morning thing, walk off, and then he caught her in there.
Yep.
Putting drops and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it was chlorine.
Exactly. You can be poisoned with so many over-the-counter things. It's tragic.
So that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if that's what it was, because...
Could have been.
Yeah.
And Sarah also found one of Cassandra's exes. We'll call him the Lobster Man. He remembered one time she gave him a cigarette with what looked like a powdery substance on it. He didn't take it. But she said sometimes she would dip her cigarettes in bleach to get a high. Whoa. Another time, she had given him a vitamin water that was already opened, but he didn't think too much about it until he got really sick. Nausea and vomiting so bad that he, to this day, will not drink out of a bottle he didn't open himself. She did this man dirty, claiming she miscarried his baby too. She falsely accused him of domestic violence. The list goes on. There's a pattern here. 2 men in her life suspected that she poisoned them. Cassandra previously said that she had made 3 to 4 trips to Ashboro, so it makes you wonder if those trips were around February, April, and June, all the times that Brandon got sick out of nowhere and ended up in the hospital. We know that she was there less than a week before he died. She said that herself. Cassandra called Sarah on December 3rd, telling her about a dream that she had. She saw Brandon lying in the bathroom, naked, and even said that his phone was in a specific hand. And that little bit of information had never been released to the public in the investigation, but she was actually correct. She seemed to have more information of what she was seeing in her dreams that only someone who was at the scene would actually know. Danny said that she would ask him to get her sleeping pills from Walmart several times a week, the Equate brand. And while cleaning, he had found some gel capsule shells where the liquid had been squeezed out, just like what was found in Brandon's apartment. She also pen pals with inmates. One man is in for drugging his child victims with Benadryl and assaulting them while filming it. The other sent Cassandra a sexual sketch showing a bearded, muscular man resembling Brandon and a woman holding a bottle of pills wearing a sex toy like the one found in Brandon's apartment. Danny said she got a letter once saying her visiting privileges were suspended at the prison for 90 days for breaking an undisclosed rule.
He didn't think too much about the letter because she had been telling him that she was visiting her dad in prison. Her dad had never been in prison.
Right. Just another lie.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Every time she opens her mouth, I'm telling you, I couldn't even get into all of them or we'd be here forever. Most of the Cassandra information that we're giving you came from Sarah's investigation. What are the cops doing? The lead detective seemed like he was pursuing Cassandra at first to try to link her to Brandon's death, even telling Sarah once that he felt close to getting a confession. But he was promoted, and his partner on the case, Detective Lori Johnson, took over as lead. From the beginning of this case, her theory was that Brandon had done all this damage to himself and the apartment in a meth-induced rage, even though a 2,000-panel tox screen showed no meth in his system. Detective Johnson met with the ME after a second autopsy and convinced them that the meth had metabolized in his system before he went to the hospital. I looked it up, and man, my search history. Per Medical News Today, meth can take up to 4 days to leave the body. Its half-life is around 10 hours. That means that it takes the body about 10 hours to metabolize and eliminate half of the ingested amount from the bloodstream. But even if that was the case, a hair test can indicate meth use up to 3 months later. They should have done a hair test. I believe in one of our other cases I said, if they're doing an autopsy, they're probably doing a hair test. Well, this right here proves that they do not.
And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't a hair test actually goes further back than 3 months, doesn't it?
Well, for meth, it was 3 months, but other stuff, yeah, stays in your system longer.
Okay.
Yeah. On February 7th of 2020, the ME amended the cause of death to undetermined, saying it can't be proven or disproven that he had meth in his system. But no one close to him believed that he would use meth. It didn't fit. And regardless, on February 27th, 2020, the case was closed. Detective Johnson said that K2 was found in his apartment. That's synthetic marijuana that was all over the news several years ago because of its effects on people who are on it. They do some bizarre, way out of character things. There are no evidence logs showing that they found K2, and none was found in his system. Remember, he had tests ran throughout 2019, not just through work, but his many hospital visits, and he was always negative for recreational drugs. Detective Johnson said Brandon was an anabolic steroid user, and the medical records from when he died shows in multiple notes history of steroid use. But again, none in his system. The autopsy report also shows depression, but there is no history of that of record. He was never diagnosed with it, and he was never on medication for it.
So the steroid use was testosterone?
They're saying it was anabolic steroids, so like back in his powerlifting days to make it was more of a muscle.
Oh, I thought you said he was taking testosterone.
He was taking testosterone. He was injecting it.
Which is a type of steroid.
I wonder if it's anabolic.
I don't know.
I should have looked that up. I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm failing you. But either way, he has a reason for that. If it was in his system, there's a reason.
I mean, basically doctors tell you have to go on that.
Right.
And you have to either go to the doctor and get a shot, or you have to go through the doctor to get them.
Right. So it's medically cleared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way.
Either way.
So, well, Sarah and the family keep going with their own investigation. They were getting nowhere with the cops at this point.
Yeah.
Well, no,
they've already closed the case.
Well, they wasn't getting anywhere to begin with. That's why they had to take it on themselves.
Well, at first, that first detective, it seemed like he really did not believe Brandon did this to himself. So they were really excited. But then when he got promoted and left, and Lori Johnson came in.
Maybe that's why they promoted him. Maybe they promoted him to shut him up or something.
And I will say that I did read one news report that said that he was not promoted. He was actually demoted to traffic.
Oh.
But I didn't put that in here because I saw that he was promoted more often than I saw that he was demoted. So it could possibly have been the other way around. Maybe they demoted him because he wouldn't shut up.
Well, maybe they knocked him down for just a bit and
I wonder where he's at today.
And then promoted him.
Because I know Lori Johnson retired, so he likely retired too.
Yeah.
Well, the family got an even bigger shock when they came back to the police station and asked about some evidence and found out that on March 9th of 2020, so just very shortly after the case was closed, Detective Johnson had ordered for all the evidence to be destroyed. That is crazy. Like, why would you do that? Now it's gone forever.
Why wouldn't they just release it to the family?
Why not?
I mean, if you're going to destroy all the evidence, why not just release it to his mom and family?
Exactly. But they didn't. They completely destroyed it because that's why it's a cover up. Like, The name of Sarah's Facebook page for this is Brandon's Voice, the murder and cover-up of Brandon Embry. So,
well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
That
it's
pretty much
validated.
sums it up right there.
Exactly. And
So what did these cops have against Brandon?
I think they just thought that he was some drug user and they didn't give a shit.
So what, they was covering it up because they didn't do what
Their
they
job?
should have?
Their job, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just, that's still not a reason.
No.
I mean,
I don't understand.
It's like own up to it and fucking do it.
Exactly.
Correct it.
Exactly. At least do what you need to do to know where you're going, because a closed case is a closed case. But if you become a cop, it's because you want justice. Maybe not. Maybe some people become cops because they want power and pension. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would think if you're going to become a cop, it's because you want to right wrongs. It's because you want justice to be served.
Well, there's some of them out there. They just want the badge.
They just want that power. The family is trudging through all on their own. And Brandon's sister got a Facebook call very early. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, something like that. But she didn't answer it because she was asleep. And it was immediately followed up with a message saying only one sentence: "I killed your brother." They called Detective Johnson, leaving a message about it. And that call was never returned, meaning that message was never looked into. The family has possibly linked Cassandra and Olivia together as knowing each other. Both women coincidentally got a new phone after Brandon's death and lost all the text messages and photos regarding Brandon. There are also several other women he may have been talking to. So, like I said, check out that Facebook page. It has a lot of information from Sarah on there. She's very active. Also on the page is a post showing the crime scene photos were reviewed by an expert that the family got. The post shows that per the January 5th, 2024 report, the bloodstain patterns found at the scene were caused by forces beyond gravity, indicating involvement of external actions in addition to natural blood expiration. Significant movement of the injured individual is evident, including in a water heater closet with rolling doors. The low height of bloodstains on the walls suggests the bloodletting occurred while the individual was not in an upright position. The patterns indicate a movement path from the bed to the room's exit, culminating near the water closet. The report suggests that the victim did not create all the observed patterns, especially the impact and spatter patterns on the south wall, mattress, and rolling door, implying external involvement in the event. So they got him an expert, and the expert, just looking at the pictures, said he did not do this to himself. And like I said, Detective Johnson did retire last year, and that report was in January of this year. So hopefully they can use the stuff that they're getting now to get that case reopened.
Well, the evidence being destroyed is going to make the road to justice a little longer.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll have enough to get it reopened.
Exactly. They need some justice here for sure. And I can't wrap my logical brain around how he could have beaten himself up like that, front and back.
No, I think we're past that. I mean, there's no freaking way.
No way.
That he did that.
No way. Now, some chatter in online forums suggests that he was suffering from seizures, because remember, he was having them at the hospital, and that would cause him to bump things, and that could cause damage, obviously. And if that was happening for several days, that's more damage. But blood and damage to the apartment was in multiple rooms. Are they saying that possibly in between seizures that he would walk around his apartment, never calling anyone for help? He had his phone in his hand when he was found, so at some point, he had the physical capability to get the phone and possibly the mental capacity to know that he needed help. I just think that they really need to investigate cases like this. And I mean, like I said, if not just to rule out possibilities. If it was seizures that were that severe, what brought them on? And I think that's what most of them were saying, because if he was being poisoned, that would have caused a bunch of injuries and a bunch of stuff internally that could have affected his ability to reach out for help or whatever. So even if he was having these seizures in his apartment, what caused them? There is a GoFundMe, Justice for Brandon Embry, where Sarah's raising money to file a wrongful death suit, as well as get an independent ME and a PI. all of this independent investigating costs money. She actually made a post and things, or has talked to news and things like that, where she has said she had to become a medical examiner, a coroner, a detective, a crime scene analyst. Like, she's had to become all these things because if she doesn't do it, it won't get done. So anyone able and willing to help, please do so. And that is where we are and all we have on this case. The cops are done and the family pushes on.
All right, well, that's it for this one. You guys, let us know what you think.
Oh, I know what they think because they're like us.
Wait till you see the pictures. Anyway, go check us out on Spotify and Facebook. Make sure you guys check the like, share, subscribe. Hit the little bell. That way you guys get the newest episodes.
Bye.